So, all right. Well, welcome everybody to our Sunday night Super Zoom trainings. You know, we kind of started doing these Zoom trainings on Sunday nights when they announced the rank advancement bonus, because we had to turn it up a little bit. You know, to get something that you've never had before, you got to do something you've never done before. And so here we are. So we've been doing these on Sunday nights. And then like a month ago, Aaron Aponte was like, we should have other people speak to our teams. And I was like, yes, we should, because I want to learn. I want to learn so badly from other people and people that I respect and people that I look up to and people that are where I want to be. And y'all, Amanda Arnett, she is the newest Lavelle millionaire. She's so awesome. She is going through like a liquid diet right now. She's on like day 7, and she has agreed to chat with us, even in the misery that she is in that liquid diet. So y'all need to really give her some props, give her some appreciation. I appreciate you so much, Amanda, to take the time out just to speak to a team that doesn't even benefit you. Hopefully you invited your team on here, so maybe they'll get to hear your words of wisdom. But they're not here to hear me. They are here to hear you. So what I really want you to do is maybe share with us where you've been, because I know you've been in this industry for a while. I'm an industry rookie. Like, I came in here not knowing what I'm doing, which is still probably why I feel like half the time I have no idea what I'm doing. So I look at, just people like you that have paved the way. I would love to kind of let everyone kind of hear where you came from, why you love Lavelle. Why did you put your name here, and why were you like, I'm going to go make $1 million here? So you're going to have to unmute yourself, and I'm going to figure out this speaker view, but I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to take notes, and you just take it away.
Oh, man. Actually, my team had a Zoom at the same time, so I wasn't able to kind of pull everybody on, because ours was at 9 and it won't finish till about 10. But that's okay. That's totally okay, because sometimes it actually makes me less nervous. I know that sounds weird, but my team hears from me all the time. They know me like the back of their hand. I'm super transparent, and that's honestly what's built my business over the years, is the fact that I am super transparent. And because of that, I'm really relatable to a lot of people. I got to take my glasses off because I cannot stand the glare. I know, it's crazy. But okay, so I have been in this industry now it'll be 6 years on the 19th of this month. And previously, I'll kind of go back to March 2013, whenever I joined the industry as a whole, because I don't think it's fair for you guys to hear my story with Lavelle unless you know a little bit about my backstory. So I was a nurse. I worked full-time at 2 different hospitals when I joined the industry. I was the epitome of, I don't have time to do this. I wasn't looking for network marketing at all. But I had my car repossessed in January of that year, in front of my kids, in front of my home, in front of my neighbors. It was probably one of the lowest moments that I can remember. I was so behind on my house payments. My husband worked for the coal mines. I live in West Virginia, for those of you guys that don't know me or don't know where I'm from. So it's a pretty low income area, low income state. There's just not a lot of opportunities. It's either you work in medical field, pharmaceuticals, like FBI, or you work in the coal mines. There's not a whole lot of huge opportunities here, colleges, things like that, but not a whole lot of anything else. So anyways, I was working 2 jobs. My husband had just taken a job that was a huge, huge, huge pay cut to be closer to home and work Monday through Friday and kind of work a little bit more with my schedule, because I worked nights. And I had 2 daughters at the time. My youngest was like 2. And my oldest was 9. So they're 7 years apart. And we had just gone through some really rough times. Whenever you are dealing with a lot of layoffs and you have a really unsteady income coming in, and you have certain bills we didn't live above our means, but my student loan payments alone were over $1,000 a month. And then you add in our house payment, our car payments. I mean, it was easy to pile up and get behind very quickly. Nurses don't make extremely incredible money in West Virginia. I worked weekend nights premium, and I was still making like 45, 50,000 max a year. And that was with overtime. And whenever you have student loan payments, like I did, because I have a double major, it piled up super quick. So anyways, I was super stressed. I didn't have time. One night my mom was like, you need to check out what your cousin's doing. She's working from home full time. And I just think this is right up your alley, Amanda. You know, I see you working all the time. You never get to do anything. I never got to do anything on the weekends with my family ever. Birthday parties, family gatherings, nothing. I was on a complete opposite schedule of my husband. So our marriage was, you know, strained. Plus you add in financial strain. It was just like, you know, I was looking at real estate. I was looking at all these different options because I was like, I just need to do something where I'm not working nights and I have more time with my kids and my husband and can have a little bit more of a normal life. So along came my first business, which I'm not going to get into or anything. And I can tell you when I started there, I did everything probably wrong, but right. I guess you could say I was like spam.com. I like spammed my Facebook all day long, every hour. When I go back on this day, I'm like, oh, what was I doing? I was posting my link all over the place. I was doing all these things. But the one thing was I was actually open for business, right? I was open for business and I was excited because when I joined, it was similar to how Lavelle is when you join and you get an upgrade pack. Like you go into it with the mindset, okay, I have to sell X, Y, and Z to get my money back, right? And the same thing was with that company is like, if I sold 4 of this thing, I made my 1 investment back. If I sold 8 of this thing because I bought an upgrade kit, then I would make my investment back. So it was like, okay, I need to sell these things. So I was like constantly talking about that. I was excited about it. I finally got the product. I did not try it before I bought it. I just went based off of the results I saw everybody else getting. And I just kind of came in with excitement. With that said, I did not promote super quickly at all. It took me 3 months before I hit the very first rank in the company, which is probably equivalent to 4K rank here. And I was working full time. I was kind of learning. I was making money though. Like I was selling those products, which is equivalent to like mini experiences. And I was making money massively. I was getting customers, but I was signing promoters and then like they'd sign up and they wouldn't do anything and then they'd fall off and they'd sign up. And the way that company was, you had to have so many boxes and you had to have so much volume in each one of those boxes in order for you to be able to promote. So it was like I was in a hamster wheel, basically is what it felt like. So anyways, about that time, all these people in the company were promoting because it was in March. It was this time of the year. It was a busy time of the year. And I didn't understand, like, why are they promoting going so quickly? And I wasn't. Well, I was a beginner. They had months and months and months to build up their following. They had a follow-up list. They had people that were watching them they were building that trust with. So I learned very quickly, and I listened to, or I read 2 books. We didn't have Facebook Lives back then. We didn't have Zooms back then. We had calls. So I was really diligent. We had a Sunday night call and a Monday night call. On the Monday night, they were always interviewing people, much like the Tuesday and Thursday calls that we have now with Lavelle. But on Sunday nights, it was like the corporate staff giving updates for the week and so forth. And I'd always get on it because it always pumped me up. And they'd always give us some kind of action, exciting task for the week, right? And then on Thursdays, it was kind of like, it was a call called Show Me the Money. And it was like people that had created success, but was a little bit closer in my upline. So it was more relatable because I kind of knew those people. Anyways, I started plugging into those things, and my leaders had recommended I check out the first year of network marketing for one. golden book. I recommend it to everybody. And the 45-second presentation. And those two books were the very first things I was introduced to. Yes, they're old school, totally old school. But what I learned from those books is that in the first year of network marketing, I learned to set myself up for knowing that I was going to fail before I could succeed. Knowing that it was going to be a lot of trial and error, knowing that I needed to learn how to network. Like, I didn't know how to network. So I was like the Google queen. And honestly, I didn't invest in a lot of things I had to buy my first year, I would say. It was more like, okay, you know, just like Paul says, there's so many free resources out there. Like, if you just go on YouTube or you go on Google, you're going to find article after article after article that's going to help you in whatever area you want to grow. So in that first year, the 45-second presentation really kind of taught me to know that when I'm discussing things with people, I need to get to the point of, why do they want to do this? What is it that I can bring value to them? Like, what brought them interested to me? Me being able to present my business side and not wasting time with a lot of I don't really know the right way to say this, but really kind of getting to the point of things. Like, if they say money's an issue, okay, let's come up with a plan. Like, always trying to find a solution for whatever it is, but you have to ask those questions. And what I find over the years is that most people aren't asking those questions. If somebody says, I just can't afford that, they come back with, well, it's free. Okay, that's great, but that person still knows that they're going to probably have to invest in time. And because that's their holdup, you need to find a resolution to make them comfortable with it, right? So those two things I feel were critical in my first year. So because of the first year of network marketing, I said in June 2013, I said, you know what? I am not reaching a lot of people on Facebook. I don't have time to do all kinds of parties because I was killing myself, guys, with parties. Like, every day I had off, I was doing parties because the company I was with was like a party planning company. Be thankful that this is not. And it was just, I mean, it was nonstop. So I knew I needed to find another way. And that's when I entered into the Instagram world. And Instagram was kind of like my golden ticket for probably the first 2 years in my business. And it was so much different than what it is now. And I did take time off from it. And boy, am I kicking myself for that, because that's where I expanded my network the most. That's where I realized that hashtags were like Google. People looking for something, they were looking for, they were going to come across me. The more consistent I stayed with it, I mean, it would be nothing that I'd sign 10 customers in a night because I was like power houring it. As soon as my kids went to bed, it was like from 9 to midnight, I was working my Instagram. And then sometimes it would be 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I would still be up working my Instagram because I was talking to people and they were asking questions. And back then we didn't have DMs. So everybody was texting you. You're like, you know, you're trying to find ways to communicate with these people. We were able to add them on Facebook a lot of times because there weren't DMs. It was a lot quicker to kind of get them over to the other platform. And anyways, that's kind of where I was. And it wasn't until I went to my first event, okay? It wasn't until I went to my first event, which is equivalent to what a local is here, that I sat in a room and I realized that was 3 months later from when I promoted the first time. So I promoted for the first time at the end of May, and then June, July, August was when I made time. I requested somebody to trade me schedules. I made time, so I had to make it a priority. Everybody, make sure you take note of that. You have to make it a priority. You have to make it a decision that you're going to find a way no matter what. And I went to this event. It was 2 hours away. I went on a 6-day stretch of work so that I could make this event. I got, you know, it figured out with my husband and my kids and everything else. And I went to that event, and that's when I had my first aha moment in the business. And a girl stood on stage, and she worked at Walmart years before, and she was on food stamps and government assistance and all these things. And she's talking about being a 5-figure earner monthly. And I was like, wait, so I just really came into this industry to make like $300 to $500 a month so that I could kind of like not work as much, right? Now this girl's telling me she's making over $10,000 a month. What? That's possible? Like real people, like just like couple hours away from me are doing this. Why can't I? Right? Why can't I? Why can't you? Every single one of us can. It's a matter of deciding and getting your head, excuse my language, out of your ass and getting to work, right? Not being afraid to send those messages, not being afraid to talk to people, not being afraid to put yourself out there, not being afraid to show up to events. And anyways, at that point, that's when I said, I pulled out my little chart because we had charts. And I said, I'm hitting the next rank this month, which is in between like, it's like in between 4K and I guess 12K, right? It's like, I'm hitting it this month. Like, it's happening. And I did because I set a solid plan and I left there with intentions and I signed 3 promoters that day. My fire was like, oh, and I went around and I stopped at, I remember on my way home, I stopped at Lane Bryant and I gave a girl my card. She ended up joining my team later on. Right? So it was like a matter of me actually opening my mouth and talking to people, me not having that fear of giving my business card to people and opening that communication and adding them on my Facebook. When I'm out, if I can add somebody on my Facebook, I do it immediately because you never know when they're going to be watching you and you might have something. Like, guys, here's the thing is that if you can spark a conversation with somebody and get them to add you on Facebook, chances are they're going to follow you. They're interested in what it is that you're doing. You sparked up enough interest in them for them to say, yeah, let's connect, right? And a lot of times that's how I do add somebody is like, hey, let's connect because you seem pretty funny, you know, or cool or whatever. Anyways, I always open with a compliment whenever I am adding somebody. But anyways, at that event, it was also time that they announced our conference that was going to be in January of that year. So just like Thrive Palooza, some of you guys are probably like, I can't go. There's no way. I don't have any childcare. I've never flown before. I'm not doing that by myself. Well, for me, it was a matter of, I don't know how the heck I'm going to pay for this, but I've got to figure it out. I don't know where I'm going to sleep, but I've got to figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I've got to figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to eat when I get there, but I've got to figure it out. So I decided that, okay, my first goal was going to be to purchase the ticket because I knew that if I purchased the ticket, that I would have to then find a way or where I was going to sleep at, right? Or how I was going to get there. So then I did that. I came up with the money because I sold the product that we had. So, okay, for example, 4 mini experiences, boom, there's your ticket. All right. 4 mini experiences, that's your ticket. So then you purchase that. Okay, great. Now on to your next mission. Okay, I need to get a flight. How much are my flights? Look for the cheapest. Okay, great. Found a flight. I need to come up with X, Y, and Z amount of money for my ticket. So then again, it was selling the same amount of product to be able to do that. And then I found, I ended up sleeping in a room with a bunch of other ladies and paid $200 for the 3 nights I would be there. I think I got there on the day of registration and I left the morning after the announcements at like 4 a.m. in the morning. And then I came back and I worked that night at my job as a nurse on midnight shift. Okay. But before all of that, I made that decision and I shared it with my team and 2 of my girls decided to go with me. The very, very next month, our computer systems changed in the system and people's orders weren't really going out like they should. And it was like, so many people were distracted, but my team was so focused on what the goal was, what the end goal was, and what we needed to accomplish that my team ended up promoting and having the highest volume month that we had ever had in November of that year. And we promoted to the very next rank. Well, there was a bonus, much like the bonus that there is right now with Lavelle, and I kept on missing it. And some people quit when they miss those goals because they've got it so set in their mind that they need to accomplish it. They're hitting it. They're working so hard. I can remember a time my husband was like, you are putting in so many hours, it's less than minimum wage. Do you even realize that? And I said, one of these days, you and I are going to be home and you're going to say, now I realize. And my husband and I have both been home for 2 years. full time. And before that we were home, which I'm going to get to. And then I returned back to work. So here's where things get interesting. I went to my first event. Like I said, I had 2 people that went along with me, and their husbands both went. I sat in that crowd in the very back. Honestly, it was like pretty far back. And a woman on stage was at a rank I was in that August before I promoted, and she was a top earner in the company a year later. And I thought, holy crap, what did she do? She got to work. She got to work, right? And she just so happened to come across her people that were like her Marias, right? I mean, honestly, that's what came across. Like, she just ended up signing people that wanted to work. But you don't attract those kind of people unless you're going after this in a serious manner, period, end of story. Unless you run your business in a way that you are like, you have something to offer somebody that can really change their lives, you're not going to accomplish signing quality people that are hungry for the business and serious about the business. You guys, I see so many people that they are in very similar situations to where I was, where you don't have a lot of friends and family that want to order from you because money is such an issue and they just cannot see past that. I mean, my friends, they could all go to McDonald's every day of the week, but not have the money to join me. Right? Their priorities aren't where they need to be. But nothing I say or do can change that. They have to change that. So for me, what can I do? Only what I can control. I continue to find ways to meet new people. So that's where my focus was. So anyways, we went to that conference. We came out of it. The very next month, I hit a $10,000 bonus. The next month, I ranked up to the next rank, which is like in between 12 and 40K. And I hit a $15,000 bonus. And then the next month, I hit a $25,000 bonus. And my team basically exploded, and I became a 5-figure earner at that point, 3 months after my first conference in my first year in business. That next month, I decided I was going to go casual at the hospital. So forget the overtime extra job. Like, I was able to leave that back in January or in June. And then I was able to leave my full-time job in April, May of that year. I can't remember. I think it was May of that year in 2014. So a year in the business, I had left my full-time job and went casual. With that said, looking back, I wish I kind of wouldn't have done that. I wanted so badly to have the time with my daughters, and I was making incredible money, but there's a lot of ups and downs that come in with network marketing. And I can tell you, like, yes, I continue to make that solid income, but other people on my team weren't making that solid income. And because of that, I think some people lost momentum, and I never lost rank in my previous company up until much later. But anyways, I felt like I wasn't working my business in the same way that I was when my time was limited. I truly believe that busy people work their business better, period. Busy people work their business better. So those people you're marking off your list because they have so much going on, those are sometimes the people that need it the most, like I did, right? So anyways, fast forward another year later, my team continued to grow. I hit a $100,000 bonus, and I hit the second highest rank in our company. And I was making 5 figures. I was a top 150 money earner there. That very next year, my dad, in 2016, my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer while I was at conference. And I literally found out as I was on the airplane, like going to conference. And it rocked my world. I was an only child. That year before, my husband had left his job. I had moved my dad because he had some health issues and just a lot of stuff going on. I moved my dad about 5 minutes down the road from me, and I paid for his apartment. That was all because of this industry, guys. But when my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, my world shattered because I was a daddy's girl. I was an only child. My dad wasn't married. My dad was only 55 years old, and it was hard. Because he was like the one person, and I promise I'm going to try not to cry, but it's hard to talk about because those next 6 months, Um, I was trying to fight really hard for my team and people promoted. I worked every day, guys. I was in chemo at appointments, and I was working my business. I was doing opportunity events. I was doing online parties. I was talking to people. My dad would roll around the cancer center and pass out my business cards. Like, it was so crazy. But he passed away in August 2016, 6 months after his diagnosis. I mean, I was his full-time caregiver. I was his nurse. I continued to stay casual at the hospital. I was not good, though. I was not good. That month was probably the worst month of my life. I lost my dad, and 4 days later, my upline and my one of my bigger leaders on my team that I had built. I want to say that because I think it's important to understand when you build people, really it doesn't help them. It doesn't, and you're kind of screwing yourself because you're expecting somebody to work really hard when they really didn't earn it. I'm just being honest. And I know that sounds cruel to some people, but some people are like, why don't you place under me? I don't want anybody placed under me. None. I don't want anybody placed under me, because when I reach where I want to get to, I want to say, I got here. Right? So anyways, my upline and one of my leaders decided that they were going to do another company, and they were trying to do it under the radar, but I found out 4 days after my dad's death. And anyways, it caused a lot of problems, a lot of shifting. My mind wasn't there. I was severely depressed, and I lost rank with my company after staying at the top 150 for 15 months solid. I lost my rank in the company for the first time in almost 4 years that I had lost rank ever. And it was the month my dad passed away. From that point on, I saw some things that I didn't agree with anymore. And after a lot of thought processes, basically when you don't love something anymore and you're starting to see things, I had to make the very hard decision to walk away, basically. But before I walked away, I went back to working full time. I looked at some other companies, but nothing excited me. In fact, to be honest with you, Lavelle and Thrive were so far off my radar. I wanted nothing to do with the company. I said very bad things about the company at one point in time because I was angry. My cousin, who used to be my sponsor, actually joined this company. And I didn't want anything to do with it at all. So I had a very bad taste in my mouth for Lavelle and Thrive, mainly by association, mainly by association. Fast forward to January of 2017, my sponsor was my friend in my previous business and a sideline. She was also kind of done. She was just done. She was working her business that she owned outside of our industry. And she was just bored off. We were just talking one day and she says, Amanda, I think I'm going to do something. And I was like, I want nothing to do with it. Nothing. And she was just like, will you just shut up and listen to me? Because honestly, at that point in time, I was like $50,000 in debt from my taxes because all my money I put towards my dad. I put towards his medicine. I put towards his rent. I put towards his treatments. I put towards his funeral because he didn't have insurance. And it was hard because when you go from making, at that time, I was like, I don't know, I was like $16,000, $17,000 a month, down to like $3,000 a month, and you have that kind of debt and nursing just isn't going to cut it. You're like, what do you do? Right? What do you do? So anyways, my friend told me she was going to join Lavelle, and I was like, I don't want anything to do with it. Entered, well, will you at least listen to this 3-way call? Will you at least hop on a 3-way call with me and Lisa? Whatever. I'll listen because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I am literally the epitome of somebody that needed Thrive. Okay. And I got on that call, and I remember getting on it like such a hater and such a skeptic that I got off of it saying, and excuse my language, please excuse my language. I got off of it saying, Jamie, I swear to you, if these products do what you tell me that they're going to do, you and I are going to go 200K next month. Well, let me just tell you this, because we had bonuses, like the bonuses right now, right? There were bonuses hanging over my head. So anyways, long story short, I worked 3 days, got my sample in, started on a Saturday. That was January 14th. That afternoon, I resigned from my previous company. And at midnight that night on the 15th, I hit the promoter button with Lavelle. Basically, it went something like this. Now, I want to also tell you, I did not have a team that knew I was leaving. Unfortunately, because of the stuff that happened after my dad passed away and my uplines and everything, there was a lot of people that just weren't working, so I told my personally enrolled that I was going to be leaving, but I didn't tell them what I was going to do. I wanted people to make their own decisions. At that point, I knew people were going back to work. I knew people were struggling. I knew people, it wasn't a matter of us not working. So there's a difference. We were working, like I was working 21 out of 24 hours a day and not making progress. Okay. It was like a hamster wheel. It was so stressful. But also a lot of it came down to, I just didn't have belief in where I was anymore. By no means, there were a lot of red flags in the company, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So when I left, I did not have a lot of people that joined me from my previous team. There were some, maybe like 5. That's it, about 5. And to this day, I can tell you that none of those people are leaders on my team. Okay. So I don't want you to think like, oh, she just came over and she had all these people. But I did promote, within 24 hours, I hit VIP 800, VIP 1600, and I went 4K the next day. And then I went 12K like 4 days later, 3 days later. I went 40K at my 3-week mark. I went 80K at my 5-week mark. I finished my first month of February at 165,000. And then in March, I started back at 0 and I hit 200K on the 24th of March. It was in the zone, basically. I was working full time at that time. My husband was working full time. He was working 11 to 7. I was working 7 to 7 on rotating shifts. We had our daughters. It was very chaotic and very stressful. I was doing Zooms in the med room after I got done doing my med passes. Like I was legit nonstop, did not allow anything but the goal to be at like where I was at. I was in the zone. So basically it was, if I accomplish this, I'm going to pay off this. If I accomplish this, like I'm not going to have to stress about my debt with the IRS. Like I'm not going to have a lien on my house. I'm not going to have all these phone calls that bury you deeply daily, guys. Like, I mean, the calls that, from bill collectors, the letters, the certified letters, not wanting to check your mail because you've got shutoffs or you've got bills that you just don't have the money to pay, your debt constantly hanging over your head. I was that person that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was so stressed. Like I didn't know what to do. And plus I was dealing with loss and I was in, basically mental breakdown mode. That when I came in, my goal literally was, I have to do this. I don't have a choice. And when you change your mind to that, everything changes. With that said, I am a true believer that you get what you put in. Okay. You get what you put in. And I can tell you, I put in a ton of work daily. I get up at 5:45 every morning and I do a Zoom with my team at 6 a.m. Eastern. Some people, that's 5 for them Central, right? I have a lot of people that are in Vancouver and like on the West Coast. So they do their own Zoom at 6 a.m. Right? And cool. I didn't think anybody would be there. There's like 40 people every day. It's like, holy crap. Like that's a lot of people to get up at 6 a.m. That's just the East Coast team, right? We get up and we do that and we kick butt. We have bingo sheets. I'll be happy, Amber, if you would like those bingo sheets, that we aim to accomplish every single day. And they're just income producing activities, whether that's posting on Facebook, adding Instagram, posting to your stories, sending messages out, doing a 3-way call, sending out a Thrive sample, doing whatever, just not scrolling your news feed, like actual work where you're conversating with people, meeting new friends, joining a group, making a post in that group that you joined, finding ways that you can be relatable to people, getting people on the phone, getting people on 3-way calls. Like those things are game changers. And when you start focusing on those, you have to be honest with yourself. Like you have to be honest with yourself. How many people have you reached out to? You guys, do you realize that you can reach out to like 15 or 20 people just by going through Facebook stories? Doesn't have to have anything to do with Thrive. In fact, it shouldn't. The first time you talk to somebody, it should not be about Thrive. That is a cold message and probably going to blast you on Facebook at some point in time for sending, because you want to build up a relationship. And honestly, I have 5. I had 6 200Ks on my team. I have 5 200Ks on my team. One of those 200Ks left. You're going to have times of people leaving your business and industry. I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody followed that person that left. There's a reason for it. They weren't a leader. I'm just going to be brutally honest and tell you, they weren't a leader. Did they build their team? Absolutely. Did they lead their team? Absolutely. They were absolutely not. They were a selfish person. Sometimes the truth hurts. They didn't show up daily to make sure that their team was working and you had the help that they needed. Does that mean that you as a leader should be there for every question? Heck no. No. You should be able to direct people to the resources. So, that is something that only you can do. Only you can own up to what you actually are doing on a daily basis. If you're actually posting, if you're actually getting samples out, if you're actually adding new friends, if you're actually messaging people, if you're actually posting to stories or doing polls or finding a way to grow your network, those are things that you have to take charge of. So when people ask me, like, how did I get to where I got to? It's because my focus every single day is for my team's success. My focus every single day is to help people, whether that's people that join my team, people that I don't try to, I don't care about the spotlight. I care about my team winning, and I care about me achieving my goals and leading from the front. So if you see a VIP 800, VIP 1600, I'm going to get it. Just like this leadership retreat, I was like, I'm going to get it. Like, you guys, I had a PPA of 2 on Thursday morning. I had a PPA of 9 on Thursday night because I could not stand that I had already hit 200K for the month. And the only qualification I didn't have for the leadership retreat was my customers. So I went through my entire follow-up list and I just was like shooting out messages left and right. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't even know how I'm staying on point right now because I am struggling. I'm having surgery next Monday. And let me just tell you that too. So I think too many people try to pretend to be something that they're not on social media. And I think it's very important for you to be professional, but to be you. And to make sure that you're sharing who you are. I am having gastric sleeve surgery, and it was something that I very much struggled with because I am a bigger girl. I'm a very much somebody that has struggled with their weight their entire life. And when I joined Lavelle, I actually gained weight, but it wasn't because of the products. It was because I was coming off of some other medicines and I started on another medicine that I just packed on the pounds, and that sucks. I was almost scared to share that I was going to have gastric sleeve surgery. It took a year of mental back and forth battle with myself because I didn't want people to think I was cheating them. I didn't want people to think that our products weren't good. It was nothing to do with that. It was me personally struggling with my own battles. And then I finally realized at the beginning of this year, I finally realized that the only person that I needed to be okay about having the surgery was me. and the rest would follow. It was my health and my life, right? So I decided that I was going to go ahead and share that journey. And that journey has opened me up to a whole new world of people. And I found that because of my sharing so openly, people respect me a lot more. And they don't feel tricked. They don't feel judged or anything like that. In fact, I've signed more customers because of my journey and me finding new friends to connect with along the way than ever before. So don't be afraid to ever share stuff that you're going through. But remember that if you're going through something really, really bad or really, really negative, you need to find a way to find the light also. You also have to find a way and allow yourself to be loved and allow yourself for people to care about you and to lift you up, and you don't have to work your business like 100% whenever you are going through a storm like I did with my dad. You just have to continue remembering why you're doing it in the first place, right? You can't just like put it to the side and then be mad that you didn't promote though. All right. So if you're going through something, accept that you're not going to progress as quickly as you planned on, but there's a reason for it. So let me read this. Amanda, what were you saying people when they first started at Lavelle to generate interest? How do you put the message reach out? So here's the thing. Actually, most introverts, like nobody likes to message people, guys. I hate to message people. I'm just being honest. Like I hate to message people. That's why I really, really, really do rely on stories now. And also whenever you see people posting like they got married or whatever, take it to a message, like comment congratulations or whatever, but then shoot them a message to say, hey, I said congratulations on your post, but I just want you to know you look absolutely stunning on your wedding day. Boom. You just opened up a conversation in your inbox. All right. And you were different. You stood out than somebody else. Every morning I send birthday messages every morning. And it's always the same thing. I know some people send like videos. I actually am very creeped out about somebody sending me a freaking video. I'm just going to be honest. I think it's the weirdest thing on the planet. So like, I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me, but to each their own. It works for some people. I just like to say happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing day. Do you have any plans? That's it. That's all I say. That's the trick. And I get conversations by the time I get done. I don't answer anything when I'm in a power hour. And if you're not doing power hours now, you need to start. Okay. I don't answer any questions during a power hour. It is straight laser focus to get whatever it is done and as many check marks on my sheet done as possible. So I send out all my birthday messages. That might be 6, that might be 20. Doesn't matter. I send them all out. I don't respond to anybody. What's in your power hour? I'll show you in a second. I'll pull it up and I'll show you. And it truly is a matter of massive action, right? So during those power hours, I don't respond to anybody. I just do the steps, do the action steps, whether that's putting out a post, making a story. In the mornings, we're always doing our steps, 1, 2, 3, showing people those. So that whenever they're checking our stories, they're seeing like, hey, like she does this every day. Like what the heck, right? But yeah, so reach outs for introverts, is just getting over the fact that you can't grow a business or reach your goal without sending that message. So my suggestion is to create those conversations from people that like go through people's stories and comment on those stories, ask questions like, where did they get that from? Or, oh my gosh, they're so adorable, or congratulations or happy birthday, whatever it is their story's about, right? So creating that conversation will open your communication. And the same thing on Facebook. It goes straight to Messenger. Don't do the hearts. Do like actually put words in there. But that's the biggest thing I can tell you on that one. I'm now getting. Yes, I will. I'll send you those after, Amber.
Amanda, I was going to ask you. Somebody asked me. When you say you were working your Instagram, what does that mean? Does that mean that you were finding people that were hashtagging certain things and like starting conversations with them? Like when you said I was working my Instagram, I had like 3 people text me and they're like, what does that mean, working the Instagram?
Yeah. Okay. So Instagram is less about what you post and more about what you do. Okay. It's less about what you post and it's more about what you do. Meaning, people are going to pay attention to you on Instagram if you're commenting and liking on their post. So For example, go look up my birthday on Instagram. You're going to have tons of people that are self-gloating that it's their birthday. Now go give them some love. Shoot them an inbox message, happy birthday. Comment on their post, happy birthday, hope you had an amazing day. Like their stuff, like a couple other pictures, and move on. So look up a hashtag, comment, like, build a relationship with those people, follow them, and move on. So it's more about what you're going to do for other people, and then posting to your stories, interacting with stories. So when I say working my Instagram, it's, yes, you want to have better quality post when you post on Instagram, less quantity of post. Stories is a whole nother ballgame. Stories, you can post there as much as you want through the day. Think of it like you're taking people behind the scenes. So them seeing your morning post, you taking your 3 steps in the afternoon, maybe you're at the ball field, or maybe you're picking up your kids from school. Take a picture of the behind the scenes type stuff leading up to, what you do. And then, really just, yes, I'm constantly adding new friends on Facebook and Instagram every day. Like every day I add 5 to 10 friends on Facebook, which I've been at my limit now for a while. So I have to delete people. So every day I go on this day post and birthdays, and I check people that are active. If they haven't posted for 5 years, delete. They're not my friend anymore. So I delete them as a friend. I continue following them if there's somebody that I would want to see. If they're not somebody I'd want to see, if they ever did post again, then we're done. Right? Same thing on Instagram. Every day I follow massive amounts of people. And I can't tell you a specific number because it's just in my daily habit. It's look up a hashtag, follow these people. This person is really cool. This person really liked their stuff. Sometimes I'll click on those other people. Normally it's all hashtag related, and it's all based on my things that people are going to relate to me. Like my daughters are in dance. My youngest is in dance. My oldest plays softball. She used to play soccer. So I used to, hashtag soccer mom. Now I hashtag softball mom, dance mom, mom life. These are things that relate to me. Guacamole. Right? Whatever. I am somebody that's a positive, I want to always come across as somebody that's inspiring, somebody that's always trying to improve who I am and be better, do better, help people. So my posts are always either really funny or sarcastic, sometimes a little over the top, but they're me. And people kind of start to get a feel for your personality by what you decide to share with the world. Right. And that is what makes you relatable. And that's what makes people follow you and friend you and encourage you along the way. And that's when they decide that they're going to join you as well. So the more consistent you are with those things, the better your business is going to start to grow on those platforms. So it's part of my life. It's part of my priority. If you go to my page on Instagram, you'll see I don't post an excessive amount. I don't even have an excessive amount of likes. I have a crap ton of followers, but a lot of those followers are ghost followers from 2013. But I do get a lot of interaction. I do get a lot of interaction in my messages more than anything though on Instagram, because I'm up in people's messenger. By, commenting on their stories mostly, or shooting them a message based off something they posted. And that's really kind of how I create that relationship and grow there. So where do you find people to talk to, and what are you telling them? So finding people to talk to on Instagram is normally by hashtags. I am big on that. I also, I don't want to break anything that anybody else has taught. But I don't believe in private profiles if you're trying to build a network marketing business. So I'm straight for being public on Facebook and on Instagram. I can almost always tell when somebody is private. If you're private, if you want to work 24/7, go for it. I don't want to. People can't see your stuff, and hashtags are irrelevant if you're private. So what's the point? I don't know. I just don't like it. Plus, I don't have time to go through and screen everybody. So for me, it's always finding hashtags that are relatable to me. Maybe I'm having a movie night with my daughter and I search hashtag movie night. And then I go and I comment on every single person, and my comment's genuine because I'm having a movie night with my daughter. And I comment, what movie are you watching? I'm wanting to look for a movie for my daughter and I tonight. Right? You see how that conversation can lead to, and then boom, I hit the follow. Now the person knows me. We've kind of gone back and forth. She sees me posting about movie night, boom. So whatever I'm posting about a lot of times is kind of what kind of hashtags I steer towards when I'm looking up stuff. At what point in the relationship do you mention thrive, and how do you bring it up? So that's different with everybody. If the conversation or the person is putting off that, first off, I'm very much along the lines of, let's lead into that. So it might be like, what do you do for a living? I want them to ask me. I actually don't even like to bring it up first. I like them to ask me. So like, you prompt them questions. Like when I'm going to the grocery checkout, and I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you working this weekend? Right? Because it's really busy and crazy in this store. Like just using this as an example, and they say yes or no, I'm off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to work weekends all the time, because I did. I used to work weekend nights, right? Until I left my full-time job, and I just work from home now. And they're like, sometimes that will present, what do you do? Because I'm working from home. And, or thank God I found this work from home opportunity. Like that prompts people to say, what do you do? So when you can get somebody to do that, then you can bring up what you do. And the same thing with the products. A lot of times it will be, maybe they're talking about energy, and I'll just be like, girl, you need to try this. You need to try Black Label. Like Black Label is life. That's it. I'm not asking for the sale. I'm just saying you need to try this. Like, this is crazy, right? But that's kind of how I lead into it. So I don't necessarily say, hey, do you want to join my team and spend $400 today? Because 98% of people don't join Facebook or hop on Facebook in the morning to be sold to. They just don't. Okay. You're trying to provide them with a solution, then you need to share more stories. Because until they can relate to what it is and see themselves actually trying something or doing something, they're not going to, guys. So you either got to focus on getting them the samples for them to try it themselves, or showing them how it can relate to them. You can only know how it's going to relate to them if you find out how it's going to relate to them. So if you're building a conversation with somebody and you know that they are a stay-at-home mom, they've got 2 small kids, both under 3 years old, how are you going to help that person? Because right now they just want to pull their hair out and they're freaking tired, right? Be like, girl, you need Thrive in your life. That's how I would bring that up. What the heck is Thrive, Amanda? And then I tell them. Be like, girl, it's my wearable nutrition. Like, this stuff is the bomb. I take it as soon as I get up, and 20 minutes later, it's like game over. That's it. That's all I say. Well, can you explain? How does it work? Well, I don't explain any of that business. I send them a video. Like, I'm good. Here you go. My Thrive 123 link. Do you have 3 minutes to watch the video that's on that? Yep. Okay, sure. There you go. Let me know what kind of questions you have, and you go from there. When it comes to the business side, we have a couple videos that we share for VIP 800. One of my 200Ks made a video for how to get started. It's just super sweet, simple, to the point. My point is I always want to know if they're willing to actually put into work. You want to qualify people about promoters. I don't like to sign people just to sign people. I sign people that actually want to work the business. So I'm not a mass recruiter, because I don't feel like I can mass recruit and accurately help them succeed. So my goal is always, when somebody joins, for me to be able to help them succeed, and they have to want that, for themselves. So don't focus so much on, like, when you have these bonuses, guys, you have to get aggressive. And the only way that you're going to get aggressive is by talking to more people and adding more friends and sending out more messages and conversating with more people and sticking to consistently putting out the stories, sharing the samples, using the products, being excited, plugging into calls, hearing those testimonies. That is how you're going to promote very quickly, is because you're going to be putting in the actions. You can sit all day long and talk to the same person that never is going to join you. And when they do join you, they're going to leave you hanging for like a week and not ever watch the training. And you can pull your hair out, because 3 weeks can go by and you are not darn bit closer to your goal because you are waiting on that one person when you could have already signed 20 other people. So stop focusing on that one person and get out there and talk to more people. That's how you're going to promote to where you want to get to, is by being excited, talking to people, sharing every single day. Yes, do not throw up all over your Facebook. Like, throw up all over your Facebook, but throw up all over your Facebook with like other stuff. Like if you go to my page right now, you know that I sell Thrive. Okay. You know that I am very much an active promoter, but you also know a little bit about me. You know about my journey. You kind of feel like you get to know me. Like the longer you go back through and you read my page, you're going to be like, oh, whoa, what is she doing? What's she having surgery for? What is this about? Oh, I'm sharing tips about how to make soup now. Like me, who I can't even cook. Like I'm learning how to make soups because I need, and protein, let me tell you, I've researched so much protein, guys, because I have to have 60 to 80 grams a day of protein. And I was like, that's a lot. By far, Thrive is 100% the best like powdered protein that I have found, but it didn't have enough protein in it for me. So I found this, it's called Jenna Pro, and it's like got 30 grams of protein. It's unflavored. So I add it to my lifestyle mix, and it adds another 15 grams of protein. So anyways, I'm able to share that. And guess what? Guess who signed some bariatric patients from my new groups that I've signed up in, that I've been posting in and sharing tips, because you have to bring value to people for them to see you. Okay? Bring value to people. The best way to bring value to people is to make them smile, make them laugh, or give them information. I have not been going Facebook Live for a while, but I can tell you that Facebook Lives, hands down, are game changer. For me, I go on, and I haven't been on my game, but I can tell you it's a game changer. It is. When I started doing Facebook Lives, whenever it first came out, I didn't know what I was doing. I was scared. I just got on and babbled, and I still get on and just babble. Like sometimes you'll see me and it's like really bad lighting and I'm holding my phone and you're like, what is she doing? But you know what? People can relate to that. Like they don't want to feel like they have to be perfect or have the perfect background or have their hair fixed and makeup on and all that stuff. Like that's what holds a lot of people back, because they think they have to have this perfect persona or these, I don't know what's going on with this Instagram land or all these perfect, beautiful pictures where a photographer seems to be following people around now, but that's just not real life for me. It's not. I might have an occasional really awesome picture, but for the most part, you're going to get my real life. My kids are probably going to be going crazy in the background when I'm live. My hair is probably going to not be fixed on top of my head like it is right now. I'm not going to have an ounce of makeup on. My team, when I get on my Zoom in the morning, I'm normally something like this. Hey guys, I'm here. Let's do this. And I pull up our stuff. And then like 20 minutes later, we're all like jamming to music. We're listening to, we have a playlist and we just kind of go to town and we're listening to, it's Britney, bitch. I don't know. It's like, whatever. We're just pounding it out in the morning. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's our cup of tea. And it's what we do. And we just hustle. We know that the work's not going to pay off unless we, work nonstop. So, okay, let me show you what I do on these power hours. Hold on a second. I'll just pull up my team page real quick. Okay. And I set reminders for everything too. So on my team page, I utilize albums so that everybody knows where stuff is. And every day, literally every day, this is what we do. Like today was Friday. Today was follow-up Friday. So here is the one, or not today, but the last one. We do it on Saturdays and Sundays, but I don't get up early on Saturdays and Sundays. Those are my non-negotiables. I'm going to sleep in. So just say Friday, okay, for example. And I'll send you these, Amber, so you can take a look at them. My girl, Brittany, who is a 4K on my team, is incredible leader. She's really good at putting this kind of stuff together. I'm not. I have some other things that I have tools available. I also use a Google Doc for people to be able to submit their accountability weekly if they want. They don't have to, but we normally do a drawing if they do. So anyways, this is just like stuff that we pull up for when we do our power hours. Send out your birthdays. People try to get as many of these things done. Obviously, a three-way call at 6 a.m. doesn't normally happen until later on in the day. But if they're sending out all this other stuff, that'll probably lead to that later. So what can you do at 6 a.m. in the morning? You can add 5 friends on Facebook. You can add 10 new followers on IG. You can shoot some messages out to your free accounts. You can post on Instagram. If it's Flex Friday, you can post your Flex Friday. You can comment on 5 posts on somebody's post, 5 different people. You can sell a mini sometimes at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. You can send out all your birthdays. You can send a personal message to non-thrivers. I like to hit up people that are getting ready to get married, people that just went on vacation, people that their kids just accomplished something really awesome, shoot them a message, congratulate them, and so forth. You can do a little bit of personal development. You should do that every morning anyways. You can update your dream board or follow up with somebody that got a mini experience. You can share a story. You can do tons of stuff, right? Tons of stuff. So I'm just going to click off of this. I'll send these to you, like I said, Amber. But the point is that most people aren't doing over half of that. So if they start to do those things on a daily basis consistently, you start to see your business change because you're being intentional. Man, I just kept on going on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
I love it. And I know other people are loving it because my phone is blowing up with text messaging. And I'm like, just put it in the chat, people. She will answer these questions. Like, she can, but no, this has been amazing. If you have a question for Amanda, you better ask her now because she is on fire. And there was another question I had. One of the things that you pointed out that I really love, like, I feel like this is like the one thing that holds so many people back is you never know when to bring up the opportunity. You never know, like you spend way too much in the friend zone, which is like what the death relationship of everybody that wants something, they get stuck in the friend zone, right? The one thing that I've learned, and I feel like you really touched on this, is there will come a point in time where it will feel natural for you to go ahead and bring it up, and don't let that window kind of pass it by. But one thing I did want to ask you, how do you present, like when somebody says, what do you do? I think this is where so many people get so caught up and they're like, I have to make this sound so exciting and interesting in about 30 seconds so that they're like, I want to do that too. When somebody asks you, what do you do? How do you answer that? And then y'all, I'm going to give you a chance to get your answers in the chat and then we'll wrap this up. So when somebody says, what do you do? What do you say?
Well, again, it depends on that relationship with somebody, but if I'm at like the store and they are just kind of like, what exactly is it that you do? And I'm like, I share products on social media and I help people make money. Like, honestly, that's my answer. It's like, I share an incredible product with other people and show them how to get it free. And I show people how to make money. That's it. Like, I know that sounds like really basic, but I'm not a super technical person and I just want to be shot straight. So when people ask me, like, what do they have to do? I'm like, look, you've got to meet people. You've got to network, if they're willing to be coachable, then great. I want to work with them. If they're not, I don't want to sign them anyways. Who wants to deal with somebody that's not coachable? Not me.
Because that's, I think, sometimes where people think it's all about how many people you recruit, but really the work starts after.
I don't work with people that I sign. I work with people that show up.
Exactly. And I think we get in our heads that we think, I recruited 10 people, like, bam, like I win. And
I don't drag people along either.
Nothing. It would be smarter to recruit one really awesome person than instead of 10 people that you like want to hang your hat on and they aren't really qualified like you had talked about. So
yeah, and I think so many people get so hung up on, I want to just work with my team, I just want to work with my downline, that they miss the bigger picture of this, is that you need to be accountable. All right. And sometimes that's not to your downline. Sometimes that's to a sideline telling you to get your ass in gear and send out 10 messages. Like, find some accountability partners. My team is really big on accountability partners, and having to turn that in. That's kind of why I created, I'll show you what I created. Okay, so I am not like a super analytical type of person, but I am somebody that I want my team to, plug in, and I want them to, hold on a second. I don't know why my computer's like frozen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I want people, I forgot I unpinned it from my page. I want people to have accountability, right? So it's not going to load. I don't know why. I want people to have accountability. So I created a Google Doc, much like what Maria's doing right now with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and all of that, and allow them to submit. And like, we might do, depending on how many people have submitted for the week, we might do some personal development books. We might do some cups or mugs or whatever. I'm really big about giving back to my team, and doing different types of prizes, not always money, but just different things to help them grow their business. Maybe it's business cards, maybe it's giving them a promo for their new customers or something like that. So by them showing up and by them staying accountable for themselves every week, I'll do like a drawing or whatever, right? Well, since we have this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and Maria's March Madness going on, we pulled that off of our pinned posts because it's just like a duplicate. But what I found was there's some people that they get intimidated by the bigger groups of people, and they kind of just go quiet. So that's actually, we have a Sunday Zoom that's like my team normally does. It's a bunch of my leaders kind of ask a bunch of guests to come on and so forth. And it's always a fun Zoom. That's what they were doing tonight. And then I have a Zoom that I do on Mondays. I call it Motivational Monday. And it's always a kind of like what you guys are doing here, a way to kick my week off to the start. So this is what we're going to do. This is what the team is saying that they need. I'm really big on feedback. So I'll make a post on my team page. What is it that you need? Most recently, it's like, we don't know how to spark conversations. Like, so we're going to work on role playing, right? That's our next goal. It's like role playing. Like, what do you do when somebody asks you this question? How do you take it to that next level? How do you come up with these questions? So I think really listening to what your team needs help with. I'm also really big, and this is something that might bother some people, but I'm just going to be honest with you. If you tell me that your business isn't growing and that nobody's joining you, I'm going to go look at your Facebook. And if you don't have any likes or comments, I know that you're actually not doing a darn thing. If you don't have any likes or comments, you're not friending people, you're not engaging, you're not sending messages, you're definitely not liking and engaging back with them. So if you want love, you've got to give love, right? So I can almost immediately tell what kind of work people are doing. And then when they say, well, nobody wants to join me, everybody says it's too expensive, I say, send me a screenshot of the last message that you sent out. Normally it's ghost town. Yeah. So before somebody gets in a 3-way message with me, I actually don't do a lot of 3-way calls, just because it's not how my business was built. I do more 3-way messages back and forth, and that might be voice messages. It might be a Zoom. It might be whatever it leads to, right? But most people, for the most part, are more interested in back and forth conversation. I never send more than 2 voice messages at a time, because I think it's the most annoying thing when I open up my phone. I have 5 1-minute messages from somebody. I don't even want to listen to it. I don't have time. Like, I can't do anything else when I'm listening to this message. I could have read what you just said in like 2 minutes. And now I got to say over 5. So I just try to think of what the other person would want on the other end of the line, when you're having a conversation with them. I could go on and on and on.
I know, I'm going to have you for a part 2. I mean, this is so good. I mean, literally, I have so many people texting me and they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you got her on. I love her. She's
Hey,
so.
I have an Instagram. If you go to my YouTube, Amber, I have an Instagram training on there. It's kind of long. It wasn't meant to be like an Instagram training. It was meant to be an Instagram training, but a Monday motivational Zoom for my team. So I might cuss, I might be very vulgar, whatever, but I mean, I share it all the time with people. So you're more than welcome to go and look that up. Just type in my name into YouTube and it should come up, and then just type up, like look up for the Instagram. You can also, you're more than welcome to look at any of our Zooms. We post all of the Monday night motivationals on there as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. If you have any last minute questions, get in that chat before she's going to hop off. I did record this. So Amanda, I'll send this your way as well. My YouTube is probably not as popping as your YouTube because we just kind of keep it for our little team trainings, but I'm definitely going to stalk yours. I have already friended
Dude, I don't even have, listen, it's on my goal list for this year. My goal list for this year is to actually get myself organized and to actually make out little videos to be able to teach people like how to grow their Instagram, how to grow their Snapchats, how, like, I don't even use Snapchat, right? But I still have the information of how to grow it. I still know like the things to do. I just don't. It
freaks me out a little bit whenever I'm like talking to somebody on Instagram and they're like, add me on Snapchat. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to have that kind of relationship with you. Like, yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't want to be a snapper. I don't need like a 24-hour interaction with us.
For me, I just, Instagram or Snapchat is, for me, it's not, I work 2 social medias and that's it, Instagram and Facebook. And that's where my time is invested. And that's a choice. Some people decide to like be all over the place and spread themselves thin. I choose to work 2, and that's where my majority of my time is. So.
All right, let's check this chat real quick. Make sure nobody, thank you for storing. It was amazing. Needed this. Thank you for the information. All right, I don't think anybody has any questions. I just thought of a question, but I'll ask you privately and then I'll pass on the information. So, well, thank you so much. Honestly, I stalked Amanda. I was like, I want you to do a Zoom. I was like, I know you're having surgery. I was like, talk to me. I know you're in Punta Cana. I'm sorry you're delayed on your flight. Like, I was like following up with her like a psycho person. I was like, I need you. I was like, I don't know why, I just need you. So I appreciate you so much hopping on this Zoom and just teaching us your ways and just pouring into us. So we're all here to make Lavelle better and make this industry stronger. And so I will always appreciate any sideline sister.
Listen, and I got to say this before I get off of here. I have to say this. Because I have had experience in like a previous business and then came over to Lavelle, I'm going to tell you guys, we have it so lucky. Like, we have it so lucky here. The culture here, the fact that it's not all like about the people at the top. And if you start thinking like that, you need to do some personal development, because that's just not the way it is. Paul's focus is always like on the 4Ks and the 12Ks. And like, I can see that. Everybody can see that. You don't just earn you're just going to the top because you got a rank like 10 years ago. Like, you have to earn everything that you get here. And these getaways, they're just absolutely priceless, and your butts need to get on them, because your lives will change. Your friendships that you will grow with people will change when you start going on them. So I have to finish off the night and say that, because I think it's so easy to see a new shiny company come out there and all kinds of crazy stuff, but a culture is a culture, and this is one that is something that is very rare in this industry. And I can just say that our CEOs literally they scored a big one on that, right?
I agree. I mean, I think I would follow Jason Camper to the ends of the earth if he told me he had a product that was going to do something. Like, I'm like, this is where it's at. I like get all like, oh, like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? And he's like, I've been thinking about that for a year. Would you just slow your roll? Trust me. Like, have I not proven to you that you should trust me? And I'm like, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I do. Yeah. I trust you. They're always ahead of the game. So love it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Again, thank you so much. This was awesome. Good luck next week. I'll be praying for you. I'll be stalking your Facebook and making sure everything went well and all that. So, all right. I'll have a good night.
Everybody have a good night. Bye.